Hey, what's up? Welcome to another edition of The Mandatory. If you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, remember, you can follow us on our social media channels. So you'll see on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube, or you'll see in the description below the ways that you can connect with us. Also, we just want to say if you've already been rocking out with the show, we do appreciate you. This is an interactive show. So remember, you can always drop some comments in the chat if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on the audio side, thank you so much. Leave a rating review. Give us a 5-star. That helps the channel grow as well. Lots to get into in today's episode. We're going to be talking about the Deontay Wilder fight and his comments that were made, because he made some very interesting comments that I don't even think a lot of people would make, Brian. We're going to take a listen to that a little bit later on in the show. We're also going to get into the Tank Davis saga that has continued, and more issues outside of the ring.
I promise people on this show we want to keep it light, but y'all, not y'all, but like boxing, y'all don't make it possible.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. And we're also going to be talking about a little back and forth between Vergil Ortiz and Xander Zayas. And speaking of Xander Zayas, Brian, finally, a big fight has officially been announced. It's between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas. It's the big one. It's going to be at Barclays, June 27th. This is for the super welterweight title, and it's going to be for both Zayas's WBA and WBO belts. This is the biggest fight for both of these guys, Brian. I know Jaron Ennis fought Stanionis. I think this is a bigger fight. What are your thoughts on this actually happening? Like, this is the biggest fight so far this year.
I can't fucking wait for this.
Yeah.
This is the most excited I've been for a fight in a while. I'm more excited for this than Shakur versus Teofimo, because I felt like that went about how we expected / feared. As a matter of fact, it was even more one-sided than we feared. But this feels like a real 50-50, although I think a lot of people would say this is more like 70-30, 80-20 for Boots Ennis. I don't think it's that tilted toward Boots. I think he should be the favorite, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to check if he is, because the odds might already be up. But I love that this is official. I just want to credit both sides, one, for doing this, especially Xander, who absolutely does not have to do this. You know, like if the WBA is not twisting his arm, he doesn't have to then defend, because Jaron Boots Ennis has the interim title. If they're not twisting his arm, which we have no public information on that, but it doesn't appear that that was the case, because it probably would have gotten reported right now. Like, Xander Zayas has been calling out all the big names, so to speak. Sebastian Fundora could have fought him because Xander was his mandatory. He gave up the WBO to pursue Tim Tszyu. Vergil Ortiz, we'll get to him in a bit, but Xander wanted to fight him on some level. And I think some of the things Vergil Ortiz said actually makes Xander look better in the light, which we'll get to. And then the other piece of this is Boots needs this. Like, Boots absolutely needs this, and Xander didn't have to give it to him as somebody who's creating leverage by going after titles. I'm not saying he's the best at 154. Boots should be. Boots is the most talented guy in this weight class. Now, we still have to see it against top-level competition. Xander's going to be the best guy that Boots has fought by far. And the reverse is true also. Like, Xander beat a real champion in Abbas Baru, but Boots is a different dude. So this is perfect. This is great. I also think Boots needs this more because he's 28 going on 29, and people still have questions about his greatness. And you and I both think he's pound for pound talented, but doesn't have the pound for pound resume. So this is a step toward that. if he can get the win. I love this fight so fucking much. And I'm going to go. I'm going to make sure that I get a credential to this shit.
Yeah, this is, I totally forgot about Shakur and Teofimo Lopez. That's how disappointing that fight was, but it went how we all thought it would go. Now, this fight is absolutely massive. We are going to get into the Xander and Vergil thing. And, Bryan kind of gave a little bit of a tease of how he feels about that. You could go either way on that. So that's going to be a very, very interesting conversation when we get to Xander Zayas and Vergil Ortiz. But when you talk about Boots, he needs a big fight. I was on him like a couple of weeks ago about how he didn't have big fights and how he kept on saying he wanted big fights. And sometimes that's a promotional issue. Sometimes things like that happen. So I totally understand. However, being 28 years old, I feel like you're in your prime. You could be on the pound for pound list. I think if he beats Xander, you would have to put him on the pound for pound list. I think if Xander beats Boots, you might have that conversation to put him on the pound for pound list. Like these are conversations that should happen because Zayas has 2 of the belts at 154. Like he needs a lot more credit than he is actually getting. The route that he took to become a champion, very, very smart. But as for Boots, there's a lot on the line for him here. And when you talk about whether this fight is a 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, I don't actually know what this fight is. And I'm only saying that because I don't ever even think we've seen the potential of Boots because he's so good. We know he's good. I don't even think we've even touched the surface of Boots being that good. And then Xander Zayas is 23 years old. Like, he's not even close to being as great as he's going to be. We actually don't know how these two dudes are going to look in the ring. We can have kind of a perception of how this fight might go. And Bryan, I do want to give like an early preview as well. But this is going to be the biggest fight of the year. And it's going to be the most entertaining. And I'm going to tell you why. Xander Zayas is not going to sit back and cruise to a win. He's going to fight. Boots is going to put on a show. Bryan, I think this may be one of the most entertaining fights we get this year because both these guys are going to give their all. This fight is massive. And it's true, though, Boots needed Xander more than Xander needed Boots. But this just shows the greatness that they're trying to have in this division. And we just saw Fundora, absolutely cruise to a victory against a washed Keith Thurman, regardless of what you want to say. Okay, about the size, whatever. Like Keith Thurman is old now.
Yeah.
Fundora is one of those names where I think he's going to fight whoever wins Boots and Xander. Like that would be the play to make. And the guy on the outside is Vergil right now because of everything that's going on. So before we get into all of that, Bryan, how do you kind of an early preview? We don't have to give a breakdown, like a full breakdown. Sorry.
We do have odds, by the way.
Okay. Let's share the screen. This is what we do around here at the Mandatory. We share the screen. I'm wondering how big of a favorite Boots is over Xander's eyes, which is crazy though, because he has 2 of the belts.
Minus 380 and Xander's plus 270.
Okay, so
it's a little more than I thought, but I'm not that surprised.
I'm very surprised. I don't think it should be this far. I don't think Boots should be a minus 380, dude.
I don't think it should be either.
If anything, I might be okay with Boots being like a minus 240, right? Like minus 240, minus 220. Even then, it's like, I think it's unfair because who on Jaron Boots Ennis' resume is even close to Xander? Like, let's be serious here. Like, other than Stanionis. Like, he doesn't have a solid name on the resume, Bryan. There's no one where I'm like, oh, wow, he beat him. There's nobody.
It's really just Stanionis.
You could even argue that
Romain Villa, I guess, is the other one.
Okay,
like,
that's the one I'd be like, okay, because I'm a Romain Villa fan.
Karen Tsukada-san's the other one, It's fine. All guys that I think Xander Zayas would beat.
Yes.
So probably by decision, but still.
Yes. Okay, so we're looking at the odds here. It's a plus 270. Would you be tempted to place a $5 bet on plus 270? Like those odds are really good. Of course, right?
Of course. Yeah, because I've seen Boots struggle with movement. And Xander, people are beginning to say like, oh, he's a runner, he moves around too much. He hits you with a lot of volume. So it's a combination of he's using the ring to whatever degree he can. And also in between that is trying to overwhelm his opponent with volume. So he's trying to make sure like he's not stationary, like he's a moving target and also wins the exchange battle. Like that's how he's winning these fights, with some combination of power and speed, not a ton of power in terms of finishing ability, but accumulation of punishment. Like he'll hurt you over the course of a fight. He doesn't have the one big shot that Felix Trinidad and Miguel Cotto seem to, but I wouldn't call him completely weak either. He's just more of a volume type of dude. Like William Zepeda is a volume type of dude. He's not like a big, huge puncher. We saw that in the Shakur Stevenson fight, and we've seen that in other fights, frankly, even the Tevin Farmer fight. Both fights I didn't think particularly went his way, but the point remains. So I think with this, it's like Boots can have lapses. We saw against Karen Chukadazan, right? Where he's just not really active. He's not moving to the degree he should. If he uses his physical tools, like, yeah, it should be enough talent-wise to overwhelm him. The other thing we have to take into account, though, is Xander's 23 and getting better. So I legitimately do feel like he's looking better and better every time I see him. Like I saw some improvements from when he fought Garcia to when he fought Bauru. And I feel like we're going to see another jump now because this is the stage for when you're developing, when you're 23, 24. Like he's not in his prime yet. Boots is in his prime right now. Like he should be at the height of whatever he's going to be right now. He's 35 fights into his career, has a ton of stoppages, weak resume for the most part, but at the same time, I think it's about whether or not Boots puts it all together and he's as good as we think he's going to be in this particular fight, or if Xander is actually like close the gap a little bit more than we think. Because I think the perception here, and justifiably, is that Boots is more talented, which he has shown to be. But I do think we're discounting Xander a little bit. Plus 270 though is something that's tempting for me. Like I have no interest in taking Boots at minus 380. If I'm somebody who's looking at Boots, I'm probably just gonna wait and see if the number drops a little bit, see if like Xander actually gets a little bit more of a push, because I think this is a touch too lopsided based on what we've seen from both of these guys so far and the questions we have.
I think this might be crazy for me to say. I'm going to make a really bold statement right now. I think Jaron Boots Ennis, like when you think about the physicality and his build and how skilled he is and how quick those hands are, and he does have power. Brian, I think he's better than Spence, and Spence, like I'm just foreseeing this. I think he's going to be better than Spence, and I think he has the possibility to be like one of the best welterweights. That's how good he is. That's how good I think Boots is. I think he could like be close to being like a Bud Crawford. And I go back to the resume because I know I'm talking about his resume right now and how it's not good. These are similar conversations that people were having about Bud Crawford at one point, right? But Bud was stopping everybody once he got to 147. I think in those little lapses that Boots had in his fights, I think that's where kind of the negativity and criticism came in, because we're like, yo, you should be knocking out this dude. You should be stopping this dude because there's so much hype on him. I've said before on this show, like, I think Shakur Stevenson might go undefeated and have the O like Mayweather. I think Boots could do that as well. Like, that's how good I think he is, Brian. And so this is going to be a very interesting fight. We're taking a look at, other odds here.
Boots by stoppage is minus 130. Get the fuck out.
No, I don't think I don't think Boots stops him, just in terms of like Zayas' build and how strong he is. But I would take, this is good odds here. Ennis by decision at plus 290.
That's interesting.
That's very, very, those are very high odds. And I only say that because both these guys are great body punchers. There's going to be a lot of body punching in this fight. Okay. It's going to be all to the body. And let me tell you something. Xander Zayas could possibly, like, I'm telling you, there's going to be swing rounds in this fight. Some of these rounds are going to be very close. And I do think that this is going to be a close fight. This is going to be like 115, 113, Brian. That's how close I think this fight is going to be, because Xander's very skilled. I think people are sleeping on Xander Zayas right now. Am I wrong?
Let's get to some comments. We got some about Keith Thurman. We'll get to it in a little bit. Yusuf Bean, Boots in 6.
Ooh, that's
Karen lost. Karen lost 22 of the 24 rounds. What are you talking about? No, he didn't. Boots lost 4 rounds in that last fight. If you watched it, and also Karen got dropped once, like a little flash knockdown, and also lost a point for holding. But he struggled in that fight. Salome points out Karen's footwork gave Boots trouble.
Yes,
he did get hit a lot in the rematch too. Yeah, Boots was not better in the second fight than he was in the first fight. The first fight, he struggled. Like in that fight, he was still on a knockout streak. Kara Chukadazan moved around the ring a ton. use his footwork to sort of bother him. Boots was having trouble actually cutting off the ring, getting in set positions to actually hurt him to the body. He was winning the rounds on volume because Karen Chukadazan wasn't really throwing any punches. And then in the next fight, he sat there a little bit longer and then actually got tagged by Karen Chukadazan a few times, but he ended up winning the fight anyway. So it wasn't as one-sided as maybe the scorecard suggested in the first fight or in the second fight, just when you watch it stylistically. And the point of it is Xander can do some of those footwork things, but he's going to do it while incorporating volume and actually throwing punches and actually landing punches because he's pretty accurate as well. And that's going to be something different that Boots hasn't seen before. So I'm not even saying Xander Zayas is going to win this fight. And you're calling me biased now because you're a fucking baby, and it's okay. It's fine. Like, like we can disagree about it. I'm not even telling you Xander's going to win the fight. Maybe Boots wins. I don't think he's justifiably like minus 130 to win by knockout is kind of crazy. There's nothing that we've seen from either guy to suggest that Xander should be the underdog in terms of being minus odds to lose by stoppage when he hasn't been stopped before at all. Like that doesn't make a ton of sense, but it is what it is. So we'll agree to disagree.
The thing about it is that, and I was reading a lot of comments on some of our previous episodes, and it's like when a lot of people have like their favorite.
Why would I bet you, Yusuf? Why would I bet you if I'm not even disagreeing with you? I'm not, in terms of Boots being better. I've said for the entire episode, like Boots is more talented. We just have to actually see it. Like it's called, you know what this thing is called? It's called nuance. And when you have a bias, because you're coming into this chat with a bias saying, oh, Xander's going to lose, your boy's getting dog walk. I'm giving Boots his props. I'm just saying he also has to prove it against Xander Zayas level competition. You're actually coming in here with the bias. And if you're too dumb to recognize that, no, I'm not going to bet the fucking stop. Because if I do that, then I'm betting against something I don't believe. Like, like again, Boots is talented.
I'll say this though, Yusuf, I don't think he stops Xander. I'll take that goddamn bet with you. He does not stop Xander Zayas. Stop it. He couldn't even stop Karen Chukadazan. What are we talking about here?
Twice.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take the bet. I'm a gambling woman. I'll take the bet. Like, he's not going to stop him. This goes to the cards. This literally goes to the cards. Like, if he couldn't stop Karen Chukadazan, what makes you think he's stopping?
Watch the bet be some bullshit. It's going to be like $10 or some shit.
I'll take the $10.
That's not even money related. Watch.
What Yusuf, here's the thing, like you can go hard for your guy, right? But like at the same time, like you do have a favorite fighter clearly that you're riding hard for. That's okay, dude. But I'll take the bet with you. I don't think he stops Xander Zayas. I think this fight goes to the cards. I think it's a very close fight. 115, 113. I think I wouldn't bet. Honestly, other than Yusuf, I probably wouldn't bet on this fight, but I'm sure as hell that Xander doesn't get stopped in this fight. I don't think he does. Too much movement. Like if you think about how strong Xander is in the ring as well. And listen, like this is Jaron Boots Ennis' toughest test. His toughest test. This is Xander Zayas at 23 years old. He hasn't even filled out. You know what I mean? And so, hey, Yusuf, if you don't think we know what we're talking about here,
why are you watching the show?
Yeah, there's
get the fuck out of here.
I actually do box, Yusuf. Now you've done messed up.
She does.
now you've done messed up, Yusuf.
We both do, actually.
And now, if you've ever been on the show and you see me in here with a red eye, that bloodshot red is because I was not wearing headgear. So seriously, like you can come in here like, do you box? I don't know. Does your mama box? Get the X and get up out of here. You know what I mean? Like, let's be serious here. Like, stop it. I don't think that Jaron Boots Ennis stops Xander Zayas. I think Xander Zayas is very skilled in this fight. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. You know what I mean? So that's just what it comes down to. And so I think a lot of people are going to be on separate sides on this fight, Brian.
I think so too. I think a lot of people are probably going to favor Boots based on the talent, but we just don't have. Again, I just repeated myself at this point. We probably should get to Vergil Ortiz because he said some interesting stuff.
Okay,
that I think is worth it.
Yeah, Oh, this is so funny. So let's just put this. So Usif comes in here and he's like, "You have 12 people in here. You guys suck." Then why are you in here, bro?
Why are you in
Don't you
here
have
then?
something to do? Like, apparently you're like, like
We
coming
don't
on
need
here.
you at all, actually.
Yeah, we actually do this for a living.
Yeah,
Which you might be hard to do.
this
We're
is a
not.
little side thing for us. Like I was like, this is ridiculous. As somebody who like, as somebody who runs a bunch of stuff independently, like we do get paid to do this for a living
Yeah,
from
we
a
do.
bunch
We
of
do.
different places.
We do this for a
So
living. We don't hop on like other shows and comment because no one agrees with your opinion.
yeah,
That's hilarious. And you're still in here, bro. Anyways, I don't I don't even care to give this dude light at this point. And the reason why we say that we don't need him is literally because we do this for a living. This is just our side hustle. But I'll say this, Brian, when we get to Xander Zayas, and I think I'm very interested in where you're going to go with this. So, as you know, there's been so many different talks about whether or not, Xander Zayas wanted these fights, whether Boots wanted these fights, whether Vergil wanted these fights, if they wanted to fight the top guys. Now, there
mhm,
were rumors that at one point, Vergil Ortiz, Xander Zayas was like, "Yo, fight me." Like, this was like in the summer, like 2 years ago, if you
mhm.
remember that. And Vergil Ortiz was like, "No, that's okay. I'm gonna go fight somebody else." Like he fought someone with a bigger name. I forget who it was. We should pull up Virgil's resume. But I forget who it was, and Vergil decided to take another fight over Xander Zayas. Anyways, nonetheless, these two have been going at it. There are rumors that they might possibly fight, which is a massive fight to do at 154. And Xander put out like a clip, like, "Hey man, like we'll get to it. We're gonna share a screen. Are you pulling up? Okay, so
So we
if
have
we,
Anderson Lubin from his last fight.
I think
If
it was, Bohachuk.
so, he fought him after Thomas Delorme.
Yeah,
So that was his third fight at 154 pounds. By the way, anybody else watching, feel free to comment. Yusuf has been timed out because this tends to happen on YouTube when like one person starts dominating the comments, saying some bullshit that nobody else wants to sort of chime in, as was happening earlier. So yeah, we don't give a shit if we have 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, 8 people, because people actually really rock with this show.
yeah,
Slowly, we're gonna get to Deontay Wilder in a little bit. Actually, it's on the
yeah,
docket. But yeah, we won't get derailed by some fucking loser who's doing nothing all day and then decides to hop on a live and just derail the show. So we apologize to people who actually watch the show and listen to the show.
yeah.
And I'm sure he'll be back, but this person will be blocked moving forward. All right,
And here's the thing: I
continue.
had time today, you guys. Usually, I don't do this, but when I got time, I got time. Okay,
Yeah,
anyways.
me too. Me too. I just don't particularly care because, like, look, if you have nothing else to do, then okay, fine, just say that. But you also don't have $1,000. Like, stop playing because you were talking about betting $1,000. You don't have $1,000. If you're coming in here on your free time, like invading a chat and laughing at people for having 11 people, like you ain't got $1,000. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Anyway, Vergil Ortiz, Erickson Lubin, Israel Dreamov, Sergey Bohachuk were his last 3 fights. The first two of that bunch were ones that got a lot of attention from the boxing community in terms of being, hey, he's taking tough fights.
yeah,
Bohachuk is good. Madrimov just fought Terrence Crawford after that. Both of them were very, very close. Um, those are probably and those two and the Erickson Lubin fights are honestly the fights on his resume that you look at and you're like, oh, okay, like you're seeing what Vergil Ortiz could sort of piece together. The Erickson Lubin one was particularly surprising because I thought Lubin was pretty good coming into that. Although he got away with one against Jesus Ramos, but Vergil stopped him in 2 rounds. Now Lubin's been chinny, but
yeah.
still, I thought that was a good performance from him.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think Virgil has the best resume out of everybody at 154 when you think about the top guys. That's what
Hmm.
I think. So Brian, there was some social media back and forth. If you could pull that up between Virgil Ortiz and Xander Zayas, because there was a clip where like Xander Zayas is like calling out everybody, and so Virgil Ortiz actually posted a document, which was like an email that was a back and forth between Virgil's team and Zayas's team. So let's take a look here. I'll let you read this one.
So Xander initially posted this with the with the Virgil face because we talked about this during the show. Xander initially posted this. By the way, Cressida Pancho just signed with MVP.
That's a huge get. She's amazing.
Yeah, I just got that email. She's gonna be doing the announcing for them. That's
That's
interesting.
great. That's huge. Good for her.
Vergil Ortiz laughed at Xander Zayas because there was this clip initially from Xander Zayas. We'll actually play it. This is from I don't even know where this interview is from. But this is from an interview. Oh, here we go. Here's the credit. This goes to Ring. Okay. Right. Ring Magazine.
All right, let's play this clip of Xander first.
Yeah, our friends at Ring. Anyway, we'll play this clip. This is what Xander had to say about the Vergil Ortiz negotiations.
With Vergil, well, I guess that happened every time there was a conversation of a big fight with him. He always wanted it too much of his way and never wanted to be, he didn't want to play the game. He didn't want to play the game. He only wanted to play his game, and that's why he never got a big fight. It was super easy. I feel like not just me, but the whole team, everybody behind the scenes. With Vergil, well, I guess
so that
happened every time there was a.
And then Vergil responds, I wanted everything my way, laughing emoji. He publicly declined a 50-50 offer in neutral territory and said it was not a real offer and never negotiated back. He claims to have wanted the fight and did everything he could to make the fight happen, and yet we never heard a peep about it again. Not something someone does when they really want to fight. And y'all know he would have said something immediately if he actually did offer something and I had declined it, lying ass. Okay.
Can we also go to that email as well? That was written by Golden Boy Corporation. That's important.
Where Xander says this is not a real offer. And Golden Boy wrote back to Carl Moretti from Top Rank, 50-50 deal. Venue would be in Nevada or California. As for the remaining details, we can work them out. We can work them out is not a serious thing you say in an email when you're negotiating. Also, okay, let's start actually picking this piece by piece. Let's actually do this. Okay. Venue in Nevada or California, advantage Vergil Ortiz. Especially California. DAZN saying, or Golden Boy rather, saying we could work it out is not something you say in a serious negotiation. Like, we've had serious negotiations before, with various different networks that we work at. We can work out the details is not something you say when you try to get a deal done.
That's actually something that's been said to me in a deal. I'm doing deals.
Serious?
I'm signed to the network. Like, I'm signed to the network, right? So these are well, I've been there for about 8 years, right? I've been there for
ever dealt with people who have said this. And just one more point. This is important. This the most important point before all of this is this should not be a 50-50 split. Xander's the champion. Vergil is not. Vergil's an interim champion, and he wants it 50-50 split down the middle. In what world is the champion not going to have a 50-50 split? Like, him saying he wanted it too much in his direction is not saying I don't want to fight you. It's saying you're not going to get your terms because you're not the champion. And Vergil Ortiz, 28 years old, still has never had a world title.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not knocking that part, whether it's 50-50. I think when it comes to popularity, I think that's what Vergil was trying to get in there, because in terms of negotiation, first off, when people say we can work out the details, that is something that is just said in casual conversation. However, when it's serious, then you get lawyers involved, then you get a contract, then you got to sign the contract. But in terms of like, hey, we can work this out, he's just saying like we can work out those details. It's not like pen to paper, but it's saying like we can figure that out. Right. So they're not going to show an actual negotiation on an email and be like, hey, this is them negotiating. This is him just saying like, hey, they were open to the negotiation, which they clearly were. Now, should it be a 50-50 fight? I mean, listen, Xander's the champ, but I think for Vergil standing on that 50-50, maybe it could have been like, something that where he got like 45, Xander got 55. It could have been a closer split if it wasn't going to be 50-50. Those are things that could be worked out. I do think California and Vegas is pro Vergil. Like, I think Vegas may be neutral. You could say it could be neutral, but I think Cali would definitely be.
No, it's not.
It would be pro Vergil for sure. Well, where else? What's a neutral site then? Because New York's not, Florida's not.
It doesn't need to be a neutral site if I'm the champion. If I'm the champion, I'm going to pick the venue. Like, I'm going to tell you where this fight's going to be.
Yeah, and we actually
So that's why Xander's like, yeah, we could do it in Puerto Rico. This is again, this goes back to why we've been talking about Xander running to titles to begin with. Like, he ran to these titles to create leverage. He and Top Rank did this. Like, they executed this brilliantly. Meanwhile, Vergil Ortiz can't get his business situation sorted out. He's trying to sue Golden Boy. We don't know what's going on with his managerial situation. Like, this has derailed his career in some ways. So have injuries and, health complications in the past.
Yeah.
But like, Vergil's just sitting on the sidelines as Xander Zayas is fighting Boots Ennis. And if Xander Zayas wasn't really about that action, he wouldn't be fighting Boots Ennis.
Yeah. I think it's really, really interesting. By the way, Yusuf came in, made another name, and came back. The guy's got a lot of time. Yeah. This is so funny, dude. Yeah. That guy has that guy does not have a life. Okay, now.
Yeah. So you're laughing and you're going on multiple accounts to comment during the stream.
That's funny, bro.
How are you getting paid?
Okay, so let's get back to the
topic. I owe thousands of dollars in taxes because of the money I make. The fuck are you talking about?
Okay, so in terms of what everything you're saying is right, the route that Xander took, right? The route that Xander took to get his titles. And it's true, if you're the champ, you have a little more say in terms of negotiation. You do, because you're the champ. You got 2 belts. Mm-hmm. I will say this though. I do think there was a lot of things that derailed Vergil Ortiz in terms of his health, promotional issues, whatever. However, let's go back to neutral site, Brian, right? Because at the same time, they're 2 big names. And we talked about this on the last episode, like who had more followers, and Xander had more followers than Vergil. But in terms of popularity, who is the bigger name? Because that has to go into the negotiation as well. Like, I think that's
not
a big part of it.
If you don't have a title.
But hey, that could be both sides. That could be your point, right? So if we're negotiating and you got the titles, that's your thing. I got the titles. It's gonna be on my terms. That's the only thing you're saying, right? But the thing about
because if I have the titles, you're not like, you don't have to get a title shot unless the sanctioning body mandates it, which they won't, because he was not the number 1 contender for the WBO. Or the WBA. He didn't have the WBA at the time, but for the WBO, he was the number 1 contender because he has the interim belt for the WBC. So, like, I'm doing you a solid by fighting you. Like, granted, we can make more money, but I could also make money, fight a Bas Bauru in Puerto Rico, and get another title and create more leverage for myself.
So I'm not disagreeing with that part. So I agree with you on that part in terms of having the leverage, right? At the end of the day, if you want to fight somebody, though, that shit doesn't matter, right? So if I want to fight you, I don't care. I got the titles. I don't care if I have the titles. I want to fight you. I'm going to fight you. That's what it comes down to, right? And so, in terms of
on my terms,
okay, but that's what you're saying, right? I'm just saying I want if I'm having the belt. So we have a different point of view on this. I'm saying I got the belts now. I don't care about the terms. I just want to fight you. It doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't
you do,
have
because all right, then if I'm
but Brian, I'm saying like hypothetically.
You would care about the terms, though. There's no way you wouldn't care about the terms.
Depending on how badly I want to fight you. So
give me a 70-30 split as the contender, as the number 1 contender.
How much money are we making? That's a thing too, right? Like, how much money
are we probably both? They would probably both get 7 figures each.
They would, millions. But money is a big thing that plays into this part as well, right? Like, how much money? Like, by either way, Xander's gonna make big money because he took the Boots fight. Right. I'm just saying that I don't think Vergil is out here like not trying to fight him. But I do think that like this also shows that they were in negotiations, regardless of how you want to slice it in terms of, hey, he didn't take the fight because he's got all the leverage. At the end of the day, if you want to fight somebody, you're going to make it work. You're going to figure out a way to make it work. And there was no making it work on Xander Zayas' side. And that's the only thing that I'll say, because they could have worked with these details and he could have stand firm, but you have to give a little bit in negotiation. You can't, like, anyone that's ever negotiated a contract cannot be like, you have to give a little bit to get. Like, that's just how negotiations go. You can also stand firm and be like, no, these are my terms. This is what it's going to be. Usually when that happens, it doesn't go, in negotiation, it doesn't go away. You don't get what you want. If you're not giving a little bit in negotiation, that's why it's a negotiation.
Or you can go another route against a Bas Bauru and unify the titles and be like,
Which
all
he
right,
did.
fuck your terms. Because he doesn't need Vergil Ortiz. He's like, I have the titles. Like, Vergil doesn't have a title. And
Yeah.
now Virgil's on the sidelines because he can't fight. Like, because he has a managerial situation that has to be worked out. So I don't think somebody, look,
By the way, can I get to this comment? Because I think this is a great comment, actually, from Ryan Shepard, good friend of the show. He said Chicago could be a neutral site for Zayas and Ortiz in the summer. That would have been nice. I agree, because there hasn't been a fight in Chicago in how long, Brian?
Yeah, there's probably a reason for that. When was the last time they put a big fight in Chicago?
I have no idea, but like there needs to be, if we talk about neutral sites, if it was to be a neutral site, because it's a big enough fight to be a neutral site, I think that matters. Right.
Mhm.
But I think your point is that Vergil doesn't have any leverage to be saying anything. Is that your kind of like point of view on that?
You can't make demands when you're a contender fighting for a title.
What if
Like,
you're more popular?
there's only but so much that I don't need to fight you on popularity. I'm fighting you because I have a fucking title that you want. We're not fighting over Instagram followers.
But who's also like one of the best in the division? It's not about just being popular.
There's other people who
one
are
of
among the best in the division. Jaron Ennis is better than Vergil Ortiz, probably, according to some people. And he agreed to whatever the terms were. And by the way, this is in New York City. This is kind of neutral site. Xander Zayas is Puerto Rican. He's from Florida. Boots Ennis is from Philly. A lot of people will go to Philly. And we got comments actually about this. Good comments, actually. No dickheads in this chat anymore, unless dude makes another account. Fucking idiot. Salome says, you think Boots Zayas can sell out Barclays?
I do.
Probably. Now, Barclays is 18,000-ish. But I think it could do well. It'll do a lot better than fucking Dalton Smith and Subriel Matias did.
I forgot that was there.
They'll do a lot better than Danny Garcia did. Chicago, somebody mentioned. The last fight, yeah, it was Oscar Duarte and Kenneth Sims. That was in Chicago at the University of Illinois. I doubt that sold out. Those Regis Prograis and Joseph Diaz. And if it's sold out, I mean, that's not like the UIC Pavilion. So the last time there was a fight at the Pavilion, Jesus, Jessica McCaskill, 2017. Oh no, there was one in 2018, November 10th. Like, that was where they took some fights. I think that might have been where Fonfara fought against Joe Smith Jr. and got stopped. I think that might have been.
Brian, I have a question in terms of this debate that we're having here. Because I'm not necessarily disagreeing with everything that you're saying. There are some things that I'm like just trying to say, but I'll say this: if Vergil did have a title, would you say that he would have more leverage than to the neutral site?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good point. That's fair.
Because for me, it just comes down to I have a title and you don't. Now, I don't know what the negotiations were from Xander Zayas and Abbas Baru. I'm willing to bet he got better than a 50-50 split. But in that situation, it makes sense because even though we're both champions, but also I'm more popular than you. We can talk about popularity if we both have titles. But if I have a title and you don't, then I don't have to agree to your terms because I could just go fight another contender. Hell, he again, number one contender for the WBO. Is it Rashidi Ellis right now? I don't even know who it is. But like, it wasn't Vergil Ortiz, and it's not Vergil Ortiz. Like, get a title, and then we could talk about this. He has an interim title for the WBC. Actually, it's Brandon Adams, and then Rashidi Ellis is second. So, like, Brandon Adams is probably watching all this shit, being like, when am I going to get my title shot? So, I don't know. But I think Vergil Ortiz, like, clearly there's some mismanagement going on because of the issues that he's had. And I think this kind of exemplifies that. Like, ultimately, like, this is why Xander and Top Rank were smart and just sort of sending him to title fights, being like, yo, you're going to get titles and create leverage. Because when you get titles in boxing, in a sport that's still about championships, we'd like to think, then you get to call the shots. I think that's what this comes down to. Even though Vergil has like a name and he's popular or whatever, it's like, yo, he's a WBC interim champion. The WBC still has to make Sebastian Fundora and him fight each other, because Sebastian Fundora's WBC title. I don't think Vergil Ortiz is going to get like a 70-30 or 60-40 split in those negotiations. I don't even know if it's going to be 50-50. Like, so Fundora's the champion and has been a champion.
Yeah, and usually, like, in terms of negotiation, like, they could have been like, hey, it could be 60-40, and if Vergil wins, then we do a rematch, and this time he gets the 60-40. Like, there's ways that you can negotiate that. Like, we haven't, this is just an email, but it doesn't show any of the other negotiations had. Were there any other negotiations. Like, we don't know, right? But I
There
do
was
think,
another email that got posted at some point, but email gate, I don't think is like.
yeah.
I think we have the information we need.
Yeah. So what I will say is that I do think Vergil wants to fight any of these guys. I think Virgil's always wanted the smoke. I think he's one of the best guys in the division. Is he kind of being mismanaged and mishandling this situation? Probably. But I do think that he was down to fight Xander Zayas. That's all I'll say. I think he's down to fight Xander Zayas. I think he's down to fight Boots. I think his negotiation tactics, though, he doesn't have a lot of leverage. And that's the issue with it. Right. He doesn't have a title. And if he did, it would be a lot easier for him. But like when you don't have a title and you're demanding all of these things, that's where things fall through the cracks. And that's the issue with it. And with that, you need better management. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Philly to Brooklyn. Yeah, it's not long. Philly to Brooklyn is like, what did Ryan say? 90 minutes to 2 hours? Yeah, that's about right. From Queens, it's about 2 hours ish to get to Philly. You don't even need to drive. Honestly, you could take a bus, which I've done before.
Brian, by the way, I don't want to give this guy shine, but this is something that's going to come up in the fight a lot. And he said that we're biased to Latino fighters. That's actually not true. But this is something that's going to be a tactic in all of this promotional stuff, where there's going to be people on Xander's side and there's going to be people on Boots' side, and that's what it comes down to every time.
Boxing traffics and race wars.
Yes, and we didn't even say that we were taking Xander. I didn't even say I was taking Xander in this fight.
Me neither.
I just said it's going to be a very competitive fight. That's the thing. It's going to be very competitive. I don't even know who I'm taking. I'm leaning towards Boost, and I think it'll be like 115, 113.
Yeah,
that's what I think, and I think it goes the distance. That's it. So, like, I wasn't even saying, I just think it's going to be a good fight. Can we also get to some comments here? Because we got some really, really good comments here. Let's go over to Afro Soul, good friend of the show, by the way. He said, I thought Boots and Vergil were number 1 and number 2 at 154. But after what Fundora did to Keith over the weekend, I'm not sure anymore. He said he still has Boots at number 1. This is actually a comment, Brian, I kind of want to get into. Because now we're taking
about Fundora.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so Brian, would you put Fundora over Zayas or even Boots? Because Afro Soul still has Boots number 1. But I think it's a conversation to be had after the performance he put on Keith Thurman, a very skilled veteran at that, a tough guy, but older, washed, whatever. Would you take Fundora?
I don't like overstating one performance. And I kind of think Keith Thurman might be a little bit more washed than we thought, / inactivity. I think Boots is the most talented guy at 154, which is why I don't even understand the detractor, but neither here nor there. We'll stop bringing it up. I think Boots is the most talented guy at 154. Does Fundora have the best resume, though?
He might.
Tim Zhu, Erickson Lubin.
Now Keith Thurman.
Keith Thurman.
Keith Thurman. Stopped Keith Thurman. That's another thing, too. He's the first guy to stop Keith Thurman.
Yeah. Now, granted, lost to Brian Mendoza.
Yes.
And probably would have lost to Tim Zhu if not for
the cut
the first time. So, but he's getting better. Like, again, he's younger. He's getting better.
Can I just say something really quickly?
He's using his reach.
If you guys, I'm going to be real. I have Boots number 1. I don't know who's better between Fundora and Xander Zayas. If we're just talking like champs, I don't know, because I have to see it, because they're both really young. But I think they're both really good, and I think Fundora has the better resume, regardless how he won. And even if he has that L, because it's like, who cares if you have an L? It's boxing.
I think Vergil Ortiz would be the betting favorite against Sebastian Fundora if they were to fight. I think Vergil Ortiz would be a slight favorite, I think, because of kind of what Salome just said, actually. He still drops his hands when he throws. You need a puncher to get him out of there. Mm-hmm. Now, easier said than done.
Xander's a puncher.
Vergil's more of a puncher. Easier said than done, because he kind of knows how to use his reach a little bit more now.
Fundora has power too, though, and Xander gets Vergil gets hit a lot.
Yeah,
like that's not Vergil's been dropped too before. Like, let's remember that.
Twice.
So
now neither of them were like bad, but like Fundora's been dropped bad.
Yo, if I'm Vergil, I'm going after Fundora now.
I would too. I would too. Yeah.
If I'm Vergil,
first,
that's
I'm
the
figuring
move.
out where am I going to fight and who the fuck is going to be my manager and whether I
might
need a lawyer up. Like
that fight would have to be in Vegas because Fundora's got a big crowd too. Cali, he's from Cali, so he's gonna have a lot of people from Cali. Vergil's got Texas. That fight would have to be in Vegas.
HLD1 says all Boots has is athleticism with some serious flaws. Karen exposed him. I don't think all he has is athleticism. I think there's plenty of boxing ability there too. But again, like this is why these guys need to fight each other. Like if we were a proper boxing society, we would have a tournament right now where you have Boots and Xander. Then on the other side, you would have Vergil and Fundora, and then the two winners would fight each other. And then the two losers should fight each other too. Because like, let's say Xander and Fundora lose, who would be the underdogs in these fights? Xander already is. But yeah, Xander could fight Fundora, and that'd be a great fight, and people would want to watch it. By the way, going back to Boots, we should talk about, like, to end it here, and then we'll get to Deontay Wilder because I really want to get to Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
Vergil, Xander and Boots. If Xander wins. And if Boots wins, we should talk about the possibilities. Let's do if Boots wins first because he's the favorite.
Can we first get to all the comments? There's so many good comments before we get into that conversation.
Okay.
Because like people have been leaving comments. And I want to get to the comments. And guys, thank you so much for number one, having our back with that hater. And number two, dropping comments and joining us every week because we do appreciate you. Okay, so the first one that I want to get to is HLD1. This kid is still crying talking about Vergil. Pathetic. The world knows he turned on the fight not once with Turkey, but twice, afraid to fight in Puerto Rico. That was the counter. I don't think anyone wants to go to Puerto Rico to fight Xander Zayas. I'm sorry. Like, that's a tough environment. Like, already. Like, but here's the thing. Xander has the leverage to do that.
He will if he wins this fight too, by the way. Like, that's the thing. Like, he wins this fight, he's unfuckwittable at that point.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. Let's get to another comment. Jesus, really good friend on the show, day one. How you see Ennis and Zayas making money each? Ooh, like what?
Like how much? They're both gonna make millions.
I think this will do good on pay-per-view too. That's what I'll say.
Okay, I don't love that it's on pay-per-view. I don't like it at all, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so I'm such a nerd that I'm like, this is a crazy fight. Like, I'm so excited for this fight. I'm going to pay for this pay-per-view because I don't want to have any pauses or delays. I'm going to pay for this pay-per-view. But I can understand, like, if you're trying to promote boxing, this is one of the fights you want to give to people for free so they can see how great this sport is. That's what I think.
Like,
you know what I mean?
And unfortunately, not only is it on pay-per-view, but it's on DAZN.
Yes. And
I know DAZN's becoming like the hub for boxing, but like if you want the sport to do anything beyond that, then yeah, this is where we'd benefit from Top Rank having a deal with ESPN, because this is a fight you put on ESPN. This is a fight you put on ESPN for free, or well, people have cable or YouTube TV and whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like people watch it on Saturday night. By the way, this weekend, this is not during the NBA season because the draft is before and free agency is after. It's in that weekend in between where there's like nothing. You know what I mean? Maybe baseball. Oh, the World Cup will be going on. Actually, that's not nothing. The World Cup will be going on.
You know what I just realized? I just realized this right now. There will be WNBA though. I probably
and WNBA. That's true.
Yeah. So hopefully I don't miss the fight. But I will say this. It's really interesting to see how this fight goes. Al the Pal also donated $5. Thank you, Al the Pal. We've missed you on the lives. I want to get to Afro Soul. Actually, let's get to Ryan Shepard because these two comments are connected. Ryan Shepard said, I love how Josh Kelly is not even in the tournament. He won that title and it doesn't look like he's getting a big fight for a while. I agree. And then Afro Soul says,
Xander wanted to fight Josh Kelly too.
Josh Kelly's trash. He's not beating any of the 4 guys. It's true. He's not.
He's not trash.
He's not trash, but he's not to that level. Like he's not a he's a B-level fighter.
Maybe. I don't know.
B-level, I don't know.
I don't know. Josh Kelly. I'd like to see Josh Kelly actually fight any of these guys we're talking about just to see where he's at. You know what I mean? I give him a shot. I don't think he'll be the favorite against any of them, but I give him a shot. I think he can bother, somebody. Those are the top 5 guys in this weight class, though. Those are the ones who have titles and interim titles.
Yeah, for sure. Really quickly, Brian. As we were about to do something before we got to the comments, and I hope you remember it because I lost my thoughts.
If Boots wins and Xander loses, because I think Boots needs this more, and if Xander loses, I kind of think he'll be fine. Like I think at that point it's like, okay, guess what? Middleweight's wide open.
He'll probably move up.
Yeah, in the red corner, weighing it at 160 pounds. The number 1 contender for the WBO title.
I love that these guys are fighting each other. Like I love it that they're like this wouldn't have happened like 10 years ago.
I think if Xander loses, he's fine. Like this is almost not completely house money because you can't get your ass whooped, but I think if he loses, he can just go up and get titles at middleweight, and if he wins, then he's unfuckwittable at that point. It's like, what could you say if he wins this fight?
If he wins, him and Sebastian Fundora,
yeah,
right? Mexico versus Puerto Rico, that's like American Mexican, whatever.
And if Boots wins,
fight Fundora.
Well, no, beyond that, if Boots wins, it's like finally, this is what we've been waiting for, right? Like this is what we've been waiting for. He gets his moment. He has both titles. He has all the leverage. He gets to call the shots. Maybe he fights Fundora. Maybe actually, I would pursue Josh Kelly first. I'd be like, yo, Josh, no disrespect, but let me get that IVF, bro. Let's do it.
You know what? Though? Yeah, I mean, would Boots go for undisputed at 154? Because I think that's what he would try to go for. I'll say this. I'm a big fan of Xander. I'm a big fan of Vergil. I know he's receiving a lot of hate. He's my second favorite in the division, just in terms of skill and how he fights. Because it's, he's my favorite fighter in the division in terms of fight style. But I actually really want Boots to win this fight, Brian. And I'll just say that right here. I want Boots to win this fight because I think he should be a bigger name in the sport. And I'm a big fan of his style, the big fan of the way that he boxes. And I'm just surprised he isn't a bigger name. So I'm going to be rooting for Boots during this fight. And I'll say this on the show, but I would be very happy if Xander won. But he's really young. And I'm like, Boots is 28 and Xander's going to have a lot of time to be great. And that's the only thing. But
what a great fight.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If Xander loses, though, do you go and fight Vergil? Because what fights is Vergil getting right now? Because that's a huge fight, dude. And they have beef. This is gearing up to be a massive fight between Xander and Vergil. And it's going to happen.
I think they're more likely to just because we see like Xander's big for 154. I think he's just going to go to middleweight. This is my guess. If he does fight Vergil after, I'm going to be like, damn, bro, he really don't give a fuck. Like he's really like, yo, fuck yeah. I'm here for a good time. I don't know for how long. You know what I'm saying? I've been a pro since I was 16 or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'd be surprised if that's the move. I also think Vergil would probably be more interested in fighting for a title at that point. Because if you lose this fight, now I don't know if there's a rematch clause. We haven't heard anything about that yet.
There should be.
That's the other thing. It's like if this fight is close, you probably run it back. If Boots wins, if Xander wins, I don't think if Xander wins and maybe gets away with one, so to speak. There will be calls for a rematch.
Look at what Foxy said. This is funny. Kelly versus Boots at Sunderland Football Stadium would sell 60,000. It probably would.
Would it?
I think
60,000 is a lot of people, bro. Isn't Tottenham Hotspur Stadium like 50 something K?
It is, but here's the thing: it's UK. It's UK fans. They come out. They'll support anything. They're great boxing fans, dude.
Wait. Foxy, you need to educate us real quick. Is Josh Kelly really that popular in the UK?
I think he's joking. I
think you're joking.
I think he's joking.
Yeah, because you're about to take it too far, and I'm like, wait. I gotta stop you real quick.
I think he's joking, but I'll say this: I love the UK fans. And by the way, Foxy did make a comment about this. which I really wanted to get to really quickly.
Not a joke.
Foxy said
60K.
Foxy said Shantelle used to be against British fighters, but she's changed her way these days. Sam Noakes, he's one of my favorite fighters. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you like Dalton Smith too.
I do like Dalton Smith. I'm becoming like a UK fight fan. It's happening. I don't understand what's going on here. You know what I mean? But Brian, I think I'm very excited for this fight. I'm curious about the undercard. It better be good.
Yeah, there was a rumor that was immediately shot down of Emiliano Vargas fighting George Cambosos, and it was shot down already. But I think
God, he
top ranked people call.
He does not need to. He does not need to
call already. And Lou DiBella, who I think still co-promotes George Cambosos, is like, yeah, no, it's not happening. So that was a bogus report. I do want to see Emiliano Vargas. This is top ranked now. We can talk about like seeing some of these guys again. Like, where's Tiger Johnson? Fresh off of the Devin Haney thing. He called out Devin Haney. Obviously, he's not going to get that Devin Haney fight next.
I would love to watch that fight. And Tiger has looked better, y'all. Like, he's looked better in his fights. You know, I think Tiger's looked better.
The Nick Flaz fight. Whew. Tiger on Pro Box.
We got a donation. Thank you, HLD1.
We'll make 30 Philly hype Botita? What is that?
I thought you would know. I don't know, but thank you for the donation. We appreciate you. Brian, any final thoughts before we move on to this? This is a massive fight. You're going to probably be at the fight. Hopefully, I'm not working a WNBA game. I mean, hopefully I am for the bread. But
we have to play this Deontay Wilder clip.
Okay, yes, let's do. Wait, are we going to get to Tank?
Yeah.
Let's have some fun before we get into seriousness. Let's play Deontay Wilder.
Yeah. Do y'all want to hear about the Tank stuff real quick, or do you? All right, chat. Tank or Deontay Wilder? What are we talking about next? We'll take an impromptu vote right now. Ryan
Shepard, friend of the show, just also commented, where is Troy Isley? We'll talk about that pretty soon. We've had Troy on the show before. I'm going to try to get him again. And hopefully we get that done soon.
Troy is just out here, just like, he's a contender at middleweight. He's not with Top Rank anymore.
Oh, Salome just made a really good comment. Foxy mentioned him as well. I'll let you read this one, Brian.
Itama is the one British fighter. I don't think it's over. Did you see him stop Jermaine Franklin this weekend?
Nasty. I like British fighters now. You know what I mean? Like, I agree. I agree. Oh, I guess he was saying that's botita is boot in Spanish.
Botita. Okay.
Okay.
Like a small boot. Okay.
Okay. So, anyways,
yo entiendo.
Let's just quickly get to Deontay Wilder.
Salome says both. All right, we'll do both. Let's get to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder went on Piers Morgan and told the most, as Oscar Willis points out, who is from the Mac Life. Here's Deontay Wilder sharing the most insane story you've ever heard told on national TV. And if you haven't seen this yet, there's nothing that can prepare you. Nothing that can prepare you for what you're about to hear. So we're just going to play it.
Her mother tried to set me up.
Oh, if you're with children, get them out of the room. Plug their ears. You know what I mean? If you're with your significant other, just be careful. Make sure y'all aren't fighting. Make sure y'all are, yeah. All right. Here we go.
Her mother tried to set me up, to have the baby. She ejected my sperm in her and ran in the bathroom and locked the door. And that's how we had her.
Really?
Yeah. Truth be told.
Look at me, Marcus. Really? All right. Let's continue, but look at
truth be told, she don't even know I know this.
Wow.
But I'm telling it on to the world.
How do you know that?
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
When we was having sex, when I came, I used to come on her stomach. I used to fold my towel nicely by the bed because I would want to wipe it off of her stomach. This particular time, she chose that she wanted to have a baby by me because I was the best thing that ever came into her life. Most of her relationships only last for 2 months or whatever because she was a promiscuous woman. I didn't know it at the time. I only found out this thing by reading her journal. She didn't know that I read her journal either. You know, so during that time, I did what I do. I had a good nut, and I nutted on her stomach. This time, I went and got the towel and tried to wipe it off, but she hit my hand so hard, I thought she hit my hand like a home run, like a baseball,
look at his face.
Baseball bat.
He's shocked this is on national television at this point.
We have a mostly dude audience. Fellas, go ahead. Just say what you got to say. All I'm gonna say is this. There's some like there's a serious turn we could take here that I'm not going to, just because I don't want to do it right now. But I don't know, man. Like, maybe make different choices with partners if you feel like some shit's gonna go left.
You know what's crazy though? Like, his theory is a theory that like a lot of athletes have though.
He has a landing spot, Shantelle.
Really?
Like, he has a landing spot, just like always on the stomach. That's kind.
Okay, I see now that the conversation has taken a turn. Like, this is a conversation for men.
You want me to do like a fucking like a deep dive on his mentality here? Like,
yes.
By the way, I've already bet Derek Chisora to win by knockout. I legitimately
just said I haven't heard someone say skeeted in like since I was in high school, and I think that's like the funniest thing. That just made me laugh. I'm so mature, but anyways, this is true.
Let's just let the comments do the talking for us, so we can keep our jobs.
Yeah.
Salome says, wild. I mean, it sounds crazy, but sperm does last outside of the body for a few minutes. Only on a mandatory, ladies and gentlemen. Salome says, do you think he yelled out bomb squad? Foxy says, disturbing story one I never wanted to hear. I hope Chisora ends Wilder's career just for telling us this. Wilder makes Chisora look normal, which, by the way, if you do some deep dives, that's saying a lot. Yeah, Wilder's an interesting dude. He's very like unintentionally funny. I also think there are some upstairs questions I have about him. He's not he's not somebody who's gonna stay quiet on things.
I didn't expect that though, Brian. Like, this was the most wild story ever.
When I've told you he's the most entertaining heavyweight of my lifetime, it's for two reasons. One, I missed Mike Tyson, like the peak Mike Tyson version, because when he was knocking everybody out, like when I was born, Mike Tyson was in jail. Okay. The other thing is, if you watch Deontay Wilder fights or if you watch his interviews, there's always going to be something, not quite like this, but there's always going to be something you take away being like, damn, I don't know if I would have seen or heard that anywhere else.
This is...
Salome says, Brian, why haven't you pitched this as a story for the Post?
Yeah, why haven't you? This is such a wild story that he told, though.
Because my writing / editing days are Fridays and Sundays, and he said this on a Wednesday. So I don't think I'm gonna be hitting up the other editors and being like, hey guys, we definitely need to hit this one.
Yeah.
Phrasing. Foxy says, hearing Wilder like this is like hearing a Yin Yang Twins song from the 2000s. What does that mean?
You know the Yin Yang
song. Where do you see Mom?
Yeah, with the whisper song.
Yeah. Got it.
A classic. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just surprised that this happened on national television. The story was a little bit wild, but I think there's some men that do believe that like some women do stuff like this, like athletes and stuff. Like maybe that's a theory they have, but I mean it's a wild theory.
I've never not trusted a sexual partner.
Yeah, but I mean, like, these guys are in different situations. Maybe they got a lot of bread, they got a lot of money, you know, and not everybody that they're with is with them for them, right? Like, this happens a lot to a lot of athletes. That's why, like, when you see a lot of basketball players get married, I mean, this happened like to PJ Washington, right? Like, when, like, let's be serious, this happens to guys that have a lot of money. They get with a chick, she's not with them for the right reasons. you know, they're with them throughout their NBA career, and then boom, once their NBA career is done, like they get divorced. Like this happens. But at the same time, like this is like someone mentioned, like Deontay Wilder's got eight kids. You know what I mean? So he's doing something.
Is it that many?
I believe so. I think he has a lot of kids, if I'm not mistaken.
What?
He said it on this interview that he had a lot of kids. Did he not?
Hold on. You might be onto something. I know he had the. Oh, okay.
How many kids does he have?
I know he had the first. I remember the one who was born with spina bifida, who he obviously like, you know, had a boxing career basically for.
Yeah.
But otherwise, how many? Did anyone in the chat? Because somebody mentions 8. Is it that? Is it really 8? I gotta watch this full interview then, huh? I've only seen like 3 or 4 clips.
Ryan Shepard said having a child with Brittany Renner is a choice. But the way it happened was just kind of weird. You know what I mean? And she's a lot older than him. So I'll say that. I'll leave that there.
I also think having a kid with PJ Washington is probably a choice, but I get it, you know. Look, man, just don't get caught up out there.
But here's the thing, like she was like in her mid 30s and PJ was like young in his 20s. Like, what are you doing with, like, you know what I mean? Like, Jalen Green's having a similar situation.
Dudes really don't like condoms, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna lay off this conversation. But like, I think that like there's stories like this that happen, but Wilder's story was just like, you know what I mean? Like it was crazy. It was crazy. So I'll just say that. But nonetheless,
look at how dead at. Look at how that was innocuous. Look at how dead serious he is. Like he's just like he looks like he wants to smile. He's just like, yo,
room and lock the door, and that's how we had her.
Really?
Yeah. You know, truth be told, she don't even know I know this.
Wow.
Is it because you?
Wow. Foxy says 8 kids with 4 different women. Wow.
Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like that says a lot about a guy. Like you have like 4 different baby mamas. Like that's crazy. That's a lot.
No comment. All I'm gonna say is I could see why he's still fighting. I could see why he's fighting. Even though we all think it's over, and that Tyson Fury back and forth definitely took a lot of. Oh my God, Deontay Wilder, Adrian Broner on commentary for a fight. All right, let's talk about Tank.
Yes. By the way, are you gonna watch the Deontay Wilder fight this weekend?
Yes.
Okay, so Brian is. We actually had a conversation about doing a post-fight show, and I was like, no, thank you, because like I'm not interested in it. Like I know everyone wants to watch him. I got to see Mike. You know, it was near the latter end of his career too, but I did get to see Mike. So for me, I like Deontay Wilder, but I don't care about the fight. Like I don't want to see him in the ring again, in my opinion. But nonetheless, let's get over to Tank Davis.
Salome says Wilder reminds me of Riley from the Boondocks.
Classic show.
Oh, I missed the Boondocks. I bet you're not surprised that I watched the Boondocks at all.
No, that was one of my favorite shows, the Boondocks.
I liked it very much. The problem is a lot of people are dumb, never learn lessons from the past, and then surprised why they end up in these situations. Foxy says, okay, let's continue. TMZ posted the video of Gervonta Davis grabbing his ex at a Miami strip club during a dispute in October, captured on surveillance. This is a bit of a longer video. Let's watch it. I think we're allowed to do this. If not, we'll edit it out, but we'll take a swing here. All right, Gervonta Davis. From October 2027, or October 27th of 2025, this is around the time he was supposed to fight Jake Paul, which obviously ended up being canceled. So here we go. Let's actually fast forward a little bit here because Tank doesn't come up yet.
That's the first one.
That's not my voice, obviously.
By the hair and pushing her down.
Okay, here we go.
Sir.
Now we have action.
That's the first one.
This guy's going to break it down. There he is with his ex.
You can see he's grabbing her by the hair and pushing her down the stairs. Michael, go to the next one.
Sounds like it's in court. Pushing her down the stairs. courtesy of TMZ Sports. There was so much to this. Drop comments if you guys seen this.
And you can see her pleading.
Okay. What? Actually, let's listen to what he had to say.
And you can see her pleading with him.
Yes, you do. And she seems like, Shantelle, somebody who's trying to get away from him for obvious reasons. HLD1 says, think that was the prosecutor. Yeah, I think so too. This appeared to be at 3:52 a.m. also, based on this clock.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Almost 4 a.m. But that's not like a normal, like that's not normal in Miami. You know what I mean? Like Miami, you get like bottle service at like 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah. I thought you I almost misinterpreted that for a second. Here's the next video. Her going down to other surveillance. Tank grabs her again. Obviously, there's no audio, so we can't actually see what they're talking about.
He's still pushing her.
Hear what they're talking about? Yeah. This, unfortunately, it tracks with all the reports that we've seen about Tank and his...
This is where it gets crazy. Look at how he's kind of handling her here.
Pro boxer. Champion in multiple weight classes, obviously. One of the most powerful guys in his weight class, as we know. Still following. We have 3 videos left. Okay, this is where it starts to get like more interesting. So this is, I guess, where they have like food and shit all the way downstairs. He's on her the entire time over here, like forcefully walking her out. And now watch this.
And this is down in the garage where he pushes her down the stairs to the garage.
Right. This is the parking lot or garage area. So we're going to see them pop up here.
Any minute now.
Yeah. Come on, TMZ. No, they can't make the surveillance go faster. It's fine. It's not on them. All right, here we go. Now watch her. So they're together. She's here. They go ahead of her.
And she where she escapes.
She heads the fuck back.
Wow.
It looked like they didn't.
Go
even
to the last one, please.
She just
that was back. It. Your Honor, you can see what happened.
Now they come back.
What happened is consistent with the affidavit she gave to the police. It's consistent with the incident.
All righty. So, Brian, what do you think about what you just saw with Tank? And we have seen other videos of Tank from the basketball game that Ryan Shepard just mentioned, where he grabbed his significant other at the time. You know, this is stuff that has happened. There's been a lot of allegations and with Tank Davis as well in terms of physical abuse, and that's all alleged as well. There's been lots of cases dropped. Remember, this is allegedly that Tank Davis did these things, but there is that video of him being very physical, I guess, and forceful. It's not like we're not seeing something like Ray Rice, but what were your thoughts on this?
I mean, it ain't good.
Yeah.
Let's actually pull this up. Article from Yahoo that actually touches on this a little bit too. And we'll get to some comments also. Content warning. I probably should have provided that. Well, I did mention what we were going to see over and over. Ex-girlfriend Courtney Roselle, don't know. By the neck and hair, played in a Florida courtroom on Tuesday. So this is why this came out. TMZ obtained the footage because TMZ is elite at obtaining footage. Was shown at a hearing that determined Russell could seek $5 million in punitive damages against Davis after a dispute between the pair last year. She accused him of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, which we did see play out in that video. There was at minimum a lot of emotional distress that appeared in a civil lawsuit this past October related to an incident that occurred at Tootsie's. That's a famous Miami strip club, as a matter of fact. So this was at Tootsie's. 3:51 a.m., as we suspected. The pair was accompanied by another individual. It was not made clear who that person was, but the person was with Tank the entire time. So presumably
like his bodyguard or something, like security.
Somebody like that, or maybe just one of his mans trying to make sure she didn't quote unquote get out of line or whatever. And
Yeah.
evidently she ended up escaping, which I mean the balls to do that, right? Under those circumstances, but who knows what would have happened if she didn't. Your Honor, you can see what happened from the video, yada yada yada. Hey Deontay, there we go again with Deontay Wilder. He was arrested January, Davis was, for battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping. The prosecutors dropped the false imprisonment charge, excuse me, this past week because according to TMZ, they believed it was redundant with the kidnapping charge still remaining, which, okay. Davis filed a counterclaim last week seeking more than $20 million in damages. I mean, the gall of that, right? And argues that Roselle's allegations cost him a sizable amount of money because the fight with Jake Paul ended up getting canceled, which obviously was probably for the best anyway. She claims she's a victim of domestic violence on multiple occasions during their 5-month relationship with Davis prior to the incident because, I mean, Davis seems to have this track record, which there's another, we got a comment about this actually. We'll talk about it in a second. Davis' legal team issued a statement that they're disappointed in the court's ruling. They don't believe the video tells the entire story. And that's basically it. So let's get to the comments. Shantelle, I think from a non-boxing standpoint, he doesn't seem like the best dude, which we expected.
Yes. It's kind of like sometimes you have to separate athletes from who they are outside the ring. He's great in the ring, and
it's
outside
hard to do that.
Yeah,
I struggle to do that even with music. Like Kanye dropped the album, I ain't going to hear that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Did it drop already?
Yeah, Joe Budden and them talked about it. I skipped that entire segment.
Okay, I did not listen to it yet. I will say this though, like what Tank does outside of the ring, there's been so many instances, and there's been video footage now more than once, Brian, of this happening. And
there was the one of him and the one of his exes, I guess, at the basketball game that we got a comment about that got ugly, and it was in public too, like halftime at a basketball game or something. I'm misremembering if he grabbed her and struck her or just grabbed her.
He grabbed her.
It's regardless, do neither, right? Like,
yeah.
He has his track record. It's there on the resume. HLD1 says, yeah, it was 3:52 a.m. Who goes to the club at 3:52 p.m.? Brian, you must be a good boy. I'm not a club guy. Yeah. I'm not really a club guy. Yeah.
Hey, in my early 20s in Miami, it was a good time. But that's why I knew bottle service at 6 a.m. I will say this though.
Yeah, that's a little expert analysis there. I was like, man, she jumped in with that quick.
It's upsetting to see this unfold for Tank, but he's doing it, right? So it's like, So the thing is, it's like, what do you think was going to happen? Like, you're one of the most famous boxers in the world. There's surveillance everywhere, especially at strip clubs. Did you know what I mean? Like, what did you think? I will say this though, he is being what was most jarring to me is her running away. Like it wasn't the grabbing and whatever. Like it was her running away. Because when a woman runs away like that, she's probably scared for her life. Because she probably knew, man, if I get in the car with him, this is going to be a bad night for me. That's what was most jarring for me. And that's when I felt for her. Because like everyone's saying there's so many men that are online right now that are saying this video isn't too bad, which is crazy. But I will say this. In some of those instances, it looked like he was trying to like, come on, like get your ass home. We're leaving.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'll say this, and this is the only thing that I'll say, is like sometimes when, I'll only say this in speaking in experience, like sometimes when you're with your significant other and they're like really, really drunk, right? And you're like, come on, get your ass home, like we're leaving. If you're like, but she didn't seem like she was like extremely faded or something off that video. Like, you know what I mean? Seems like he just got mad and he was like trying to get her up out of there. But it was her running away, which means she was scared. That tells me this is not something that's happened for the first time.
Yeah, and there's clearly more to this, and I don't think the more is going to support Tank in all likelihood. I also think that, so you mentioned her running away. Also, what was damning was him grabbing her, obviously,
By the hair.
but the way she seemed to be pleading or struggling with him to let go. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't seem like it's the first time that happened either. Like, that seemed like it was a little familiar. And also, like, like this with his judgment's just awful. Like, to your point, if you know that there are cameras everywhere, he might not, but you should assume that anyway. You're one of the only boxers who crosses over. Like, in terms of fame and popularity, we talk about popularity. We've had face of boxing conversations or whatever, but like, Tank is always one of these guys who's on that list. So you have a level of fame that, regardless of whether or not there's surveillance, just assume you're being recorded. And he has this track record over and over again of enough evidence. And there's been other instances where, like,
Wild?
Charges get dropped or whatever, and then dudes are like, yeah, he didn't do that shit. And it's like, just because charges get dropped doesn't mean you didn't do something. Because oftentimes it could just come down to money, come down to finances. Like, pressing charges and suing people and lawyering up, that shit is expensive.
Facts.
And Tank is obviously going to have a lot more money than some of the people that he's reportedly abusing. So
it's interesting, I'll say that, but it's disappointing. And also, it's crazy how, like, women love Tank. Like, he's the one boxer that, like, most girls know of. And so this is just really interesting. I think Tank's in trouble. And I think this more puts a stain on his image than ever. And it makes it hard to support someone like this, Bryan, in my opinion. Like, for myself, it makes it really hard for me to want to support him. And I've always been like a Tank supporter, but like, seeing this video come out, it's just like, you're doing
the other ones too.
Yeah, it's just, there's too much footage, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
So a lot of people are in any of these spaces, right? Like, a lot of people aren't making the best choices. So I'm not going to say a lot of boxers are going around doing this, but like, we've talked about Teofimo Lopez racist comments in the past. We've talked about Tank Davis's various run-ins with the law for similar reasons. Like, we've talked about boxers and their transgressions. We've talked about artists and their transgressions too. So I try not to do the morality thing, but there comes a point where we have enough evidence to support and that gives us like an idea of who this person really is and who they may be, right? Like, it's not to say everyone needs to portray themselves a certain way, but just don't make mistakes that are obvious. They're really, really obvious.
And repeated mistakes.
Yeah.
I'll say this, though. I think this is why it's like extremely important. Instead of like totally like, excuse my language, like shitting on Tank in this moment, I think he needs help. I think he needs some type of therapy. And like, that's why it's important. I think boxers should have a union where they're given those things like therapy, and insurance and everything. So it's like, I think Tank needs some help that is outside of the ring. And I think he needs to like maybe take time away from boxing, and he already has to have time away from boxing. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? He probably needs the bread.
Yeah.
He probably needs the bread at this point. I don't know how Tank deals with his finances, but it's just like, he needs some type of help and some type of therapy, because this is ongoing. Like, what issue is it that is making you treat women in this type of physical manner where you're manhandling women? It's unacceptable. And we have you on camera. A woman is running away from you.
Yeah.
Like, you're hard to support at this time. And listen, I can't really say stuff. I get hell all the time when people are like, Mike Tyson's your favorite boxer. I liked him in the ring. Right. And so it's like, you have to, sometimes it's so tough to separate that. But after seeing I don't have the video footage of Mike Tyson. Do you know what I mean? I don't have that footage to make it even more real. We know it's real. But like, the stuff with Tank, it's happening far too often. Like, how can you support someone like that? Like, for me, it's like a big no. Like, sorry, like, this is unacceptable, Tank. You've done it more than once. It's on video. The basketball one was worse. I hated the one at the basketball game. I was like, this guy is not a good person to women. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And it sucks. He has a daughter. I wonder how Tank would feel if somebody was manhandling his daughter like that. He should probably think about it in that way.
That opens the portal for another conversation that'll keep us here for an hour, because just because somebody has a daughter doesn't mean they're all of a sudden going to be like solid when it comes to this stuff.
No, not at all.
It just mean having a daughter just means you have a daughter. How you raise them is something different. Salome, let's go to comments. Salome says, by Russell's logic, do you think Tank is heaven sent? Please tell me you understand this reference.
No.
Oh my God.
Like La Russell the rapper?
Salome, this is an amazing joke. Thank you. La Russell.
The Bay Area rapper.
I'm not going to play it. But La Russell had a song that he performed at like some event, backyard or whatever.
Oh, one of his backyard things.
Yeah. Backyard things. And he basically was like, yo, my engineer told me I shouldn't put out this song, but I'm gonna do it anyway, whatever. And I was cooking while I was listening to this, and I was listening to the Joe Budden pod because they were talking about it. Joe was pissed. Parks was like, listen to your engineer, because this shit was terrible. And the whole point of the song was he was saying everyone's heaven sent.
Oh, okay, I did see this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I did see this. Yes.
Like Hitler, the president, you know what I mean? Like they're all heaven sent. That was his point. And it's like, what fucking point are you making, actually? You know what I mean? Like, what is this?
I think that turns into like such a deep conversation that could have us for like here for an hour.
No, it's not. It's just La Russell was idiotic to put that out and also record the song, because you're not making an actual point. You're just saying like, oh, we're all made from God. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
then what?
Well, that's what I was saying would be that's why I think it would be a long conversation, because like if we actually went into like biblical verses, you know what I mean, then it's a long that's why I'm saying that's a long conversation, because it's like if you give yourself to Jesus, then he died for your sins, right? But anyways, let's. Okay,
there's different interpretations of that according to people as well. If you want to hear Jaden Ivey tell it, for example, he's having a.
Oh my goodness, let's not get into that. Nonetheless, let us drop your comments. Let us know what you think about this video. Let us know like actually how you feel about Tank, and if you want to see him in the ring, and if you can still support him after seeing this video evidence. That's kind of what I want to know.
Foxy says, but look at the company Tank has kept in boxing. Broner, for example, he's an absolute mess as well. Broner, it's a loaded conversation. HLD says Teo never had a mugshot. Devin, Ryan, Tank all have huge difference. I would also say Teo said too many racist things to ignore in a sport where we have a lot of diversity, and it's also doing it under the guise of I just don't think you can't explain it, but his explanations are stupid. Like they're just weird and silly or whatever.
The thing with Teo and the whole racist thing, it's like he was trying to get like attention and build a fight, but it's like that's the wrong way to do it. You don't do that. Like, so that was upsetting. But like, you know, it was funny, and I felt bad for him after when he lost that fight against Shakur Stevenson. People were on Twitter like, he apologized for racism. like Shakur beat him so bad that he apologized for racism. That's
right. He said slavery and all that, right?
Yeah, like that. And I thought that was hilarious. And I was like, man, he kind of walked into that one. You know, but shout out to Teo, because like I can only imagine how tough that loss was, and like coming back and his corner. So I'm sure we'll be talking about him.
This sport is crazy. Salome. Yes. Salome says a lot of fighters are accused of domestic violence. I think CTE does something to impulsive violent behavior, which
that's why I mentioned therapy. And
also unionizing. Yeah. I think I also think just some dudes and people just do that, right? Like wherever they come from. Some people were abused when they're young and they end up abusing others when they get older. I'm not saying that's the case with Tank necessarily, but yeah, I do think CTE, look, if people cared more about boxing, we could do some really fucking good studies on this and fund, actual like science into finding out some more correlations here. But I don't think, unfortunately, people don't care about the sport as much as like all of us do. Like, y'all watching this, us, people who consume the sport also, but maybe at some point, and maybe it's something that I should cover a little bit more closely, although I would not call myself a scientist at all. but
Yeah.
there are scientists probably you can talk to. A couple more, then we'll get out of here because we've already gone for like 90 minutes. So thank you to everybody
Yikes.
for watching. Been a really good show for the most part. Wilder, Ruiz, Kovalev, and a few others have also been accused of DV and or sexual assault, but it didn't get to the point that we have video like this one. The unfortunate thing is, if it did happen, because accusations, we have to legally still say if it did happen, like if it credibly happened and we don't have the video, like it still happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think the video just makes it more real for people.
yeah.
Like, I think that's the point that he's trying to make. And that's the point that I was trying to make with Tyson.
But
Like,
unfortunately, a lot of these, we won't always have the video. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the Ray Rice shit was bad. And then we saw the video.
and then we were
whatever
like,
happened,
no,
happened.
now he's canceled. Like, that's the thing. Like, because the video is so jarring, right? It makes everything more real. And then there's like the actual proof. And so I think that's a good point. But like Brian said, it still happened, even if there's no video evidence.
Yeah. Ryan also says, listen to your engineers. I agree. Listen to your engineers, listen to producers, listen to all these guys. I just want the truth, says Boots via bodywork. See how simple that is, guys? You could like Boots and also be respectful about it. Thank you. I just want the truth. We will make predictions closer to the actual fight.
Yes.
Last two. Foxy, British heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis was a great example in and out of the ring. I know British will also trigger Shantelle.
He's Canadian. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but for his outside stuff, he could be British. But inside the ring, he's ours, though. No, he claims that he's British too. Like, I don't know what's going on there. But nonetheless, drop your comments. Let us know what you think about the Tank Davis video. If you think you want to see Tank back into the ring. Salome says, I think it's all brain traumatic sports, even at NFL. Yeah, because you hear this happening with NFL players as well. So
wrestling, soccer, MMA, because soccer, because of the headers, like, you know, especially when you're young doing headers, like that can add up over time. Yeah, CTE. Look, CTE is one of the worst things out there, man. CTE, ALS. We don't have to, you know, compare a whole bunch of different diseases, but, you know, get yourself checked. I guess that's where we'll leave it on this one. Just make sure. Shit, I had a fucking bad hit the other day where I had a lump on my head also. I was like, I better not get concussed. This is also not in this instance, but this is also why it was more of an accident, we'll say. But this is also why I don't really spar, because I'm not trying to get CTE, because then I'll do my job way worse. I might start getting all these different symptoms. And then it's like heavy bag, pads all day, shadow box. I shadow box like a motherfucker. Actually sparring though, I'm not trying to get CTE.
yeah, it's fun though. I will say that.
It is objectively.
And
yes,
when you do it without headgear, you know what I mean?
In a flow state too, but yeah. Headgear is admittedly headgear. I mean, at least the headgear that I've had, not the most comfortable, but
it's not. That's why I don't like it.
The gym that I go to has a ring now. They didn't before.
Ooh,
they have a ring now. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so tempted. But yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week. Remember, our show is every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe, share, and thanks so much for hanging out with us. Brian, I always let you have the last word, so I'll let you have them today too.
See you next week, and post-fight shows will be coming back soon. We just need a time to do it. This week, tough, and next week, I don't know if I could, but soon, promise.